So in this video, we're going to talk about creating methods. This first video is just an overview of how methods work. So I'm going to take you back to algebra days and take a look at what methods were back then. They were called functions, but they function exactly like a method does in Java. So remember, the teacher started using f of x instead of y. And that was because f of x is more descriptive, I think. This is telling me that the function depends on some input. And that input is a number here. So in order for f to function properly, it needs input. So for example, if the function is 3 times x plus 2, the description is it's going to take some input, multiply it by 3, and add 2. But the input that it takes is numeric. So it's going to get some number, and then it knows it has to multiply it by 3, add 2, and then it's going to give some output. Functions work exactly in that same way. And we've been using functions in class a little bit. They haven't been taking input, and they haven't been returning anything after working. But they've all been standalone. So I'm going to show you this example of the backwards method, which we wrote in class. All the general syntax for methods looks the same. It's public static for now. We're going to always keep those words there. And then the return type. So up until today, void was our return type because we weren't returning anything when it was done. And then the name of the method. So our method was called backwards. And then these parentheses, you might have been wondering, why do we keep putting those there? Because we're not expecting any input. We're not putting anything in there. But that's, my compiler will know now, oh, backwards is a method. That's not a variable, that's a method. And so that's why the parentheses are there. Even though we aren't returning anything, we're not depending on any input. Because we get the input right here in the backwards method. And so in order for this to function, we don't need any information ahead of time. We don't need to return anything at the end. But this is a standalone method that does all of its work by itself. And so it starts out, by getting the information from the user, goes through the process of reversing it, and then just so that we could test it, we did print that out to make sure it worked properly. So that's an overview of how methods work. In the next video, I will show you how to write a method that will return a value. So stay tuned.